Enzo Ferrari will go down in history as the greatest car manufacturer ever. Why? Is it because he built the most cars? No. It's because of what his cars meant. Victory. Lee Iacocca. Enzo Ferrari was born on February 18, 1898 in Milan, Italy. His father was Alfredo Ferrari. His mother was Alexandra Ferrari. His dad was the owner of a mechanical workshop, and that helped young Enzo learn how to use tools. In 1907, Enzo saw his first race after Alfredo took him to Bologna. Little Enzo, who had already shown interest in mechanics, was very impressed. The race profoundly changed him, and he became obsessed with racing at the age of 10. Back then, he was also interested in opera and wanted to become an opera singer. In 1916, his father, Alfredo, caught the Italian flu and died. To add insult to injury, his brother Dino contracted the same illness that killed his father while working at an Italian Air Force base. After these events, Enzo Ferrari was very disheartened. This happened when he was at the alma mater, Stordium University of Bologna. After this, Enzo was barely able to make a living through multiple jobs, but these jobs were not what he wanted to do. But he still wanted to be a race car driver. After the tragedy happened, Enzo quickly became the head of his family and had to support them. He was unable to study for his classes, so he found employment at Modern's firefighting workshop. Before his life turned upside down by World War I, by this time the Royal Army turned out to be shorter than he expected. He was part of the 3rd Artillery Division. Because he ended up getting the same illness that killed his father and brother, was later discharged. After the travesty that was 1916, Enzo managed to get a job at Fiat in Turin. After receiving a refusal from the director of personnel, Diego Sortal, he quit his job at the end of 1918 while he was still working at Turin, metropolitan city of Turin, Italy. He ended up finding employment at a small company where he tested their cars. The company made very sought-after car bodies called torpedoes because of their very aerodynamic shape. After that, in 1919, he moved to Milan, the metropolis city of Milan, Italy, and he found a new job at CMN, National Mechanical Engineering. At that company, he started as a car tester but went on to become a race car driver. Racing in beginning of an age. In 1919, Enzo was 29 years old at this time. He finally competed in his first race, was the Paraponoghi de Panera race. In that race, he managed to finish 4th, which greatly boosted his spirits. During that race, he was in the 3-liter category. After that difficult race, he started a career with Buscona. Buscona is a company that is a Milan-based auto manufacturer, Alfa Romeo. The career he had with Alfa Romeo was a very valuable one. This relationship with Alfa Romeo lasted 19 years. During that time, when he was a tester and also mechanic, in 1937, while he was at Alfa Romeo, he built one of Alfa's most famous cars, the Alfetta, which is known for being the longest and most successful race car. During that year, Alfa Romeo decided to resume its engagements in the competitions. Because of that, Enzo moved back to Milan to start working as the post director of a new Alfa Romeo division. At this point in Enzo's career had played a major role in his life. He started making Alfa Romeo the best company in the world. Later, when he started his own company, bound by the clause that he could not use the name Ferrari associated with racing for at least 4 years after he left Alfa Romeo. On 13th September 1939, Enzo Ferrari founded Auto Viva Construction in Milanda via Tresti e Tresti on the same promise as the former Scuderia Ferrari. After this, during World War II in 1940, Enzo Ferrari started the brand at Ferrari, but it had a different name back then, at least until the clause ended. After that clause that made it so he could not use his name expired, he started Scuderia Ferrari, the most famous car company that made some of the most famous sports cars. After that, Ferrari continued to make cars, but then after he managed to make one of the most perfect cars, he ran out of money and almost was bought by Ford. The mafia found out and offered $10 million to not accept Ford's offer. In 1989, on August 14th, Enzo Ferrari died. In 2023, and Ferrari has won 244, which is the most races ever won by a single car company. Death and what I learned. Enzo Ferrari matters because he made a difference in the car industry and helped make some significant sports cars that shaped race cars and how the sport is played. His cars pushed forward into making the GT40. In conclusion, I really enjoyed learning about Enzo Ferrari. He did not just have an interesting career, but he also had an interesting childhood. I will take away from this is that it takes a little amount of money and politics to build the best car. It just takes a lot of hard work and someone who loves their work. That is what I learned from this.